Welcome back to Beyond the Track. This one is going to be good. We're going to talk domination right out of the gate. Look at him smiling because he knows what he did this year. It's going to be fun. This is Beyond the Track with Daniel Blair. I got Kyle Peters on with me today. Kyle, we're going to get into a whole bunch of things, but I want to start with, dude, you're just greedy, man. You're greedy. There's 20 main events in Arena Cross, plenty to go around, but you had to win all of them. Just super greedy, dude. Super greedy.
Yeah. I try to be that way, and Supercross is just a little bit tougher.
It's a little tougher, but dude, okay, so you won the Arena Cross title again, but you won them all. Dude, I did the voiceovers for that, and I'm watching each one, and I'm like, dude, this guy, I don't think he's gonna lose, and you made it, bro. You made it. You got them all.
Yeah, there was a few close calls, a few bad starts, mishaps, and whatnot, but yeah, we were able to get all of them. Definitely was not something that I thought was even possible or was going to happen. I was just kind of going throughout the year. I was like, all right, take it race by race. We'll see how many we can win. And I mean, yeah, it's pretty crazy to think back of it. It's definitely one thing that I'll always kind of hold on to and look at. So I'm stoked.
Hey, it wasn't a perfect season though. We lost a heat race.
We lost a heat race. Yeah, it's actually my teammate too took me out on the start. Unreal. Cullen Park.
Hey, how'd you like riding with that kid this year? I was impressed by him. He's pretty talented. He looked like he was coming around. Obviously, I think being with you helps him. He's got to learn a lot this year, but was it kind of cool for you to be like the guy and have this like young kid who's just learning, who is, you're probably not wanting to teach him too much, though. He's pretty talented.
He is, definitely. Myself, it took me a lot longer to kind of get where he was at, even at the end of the season. In the beginning, he's really good in whoops, had everything pretty down pat, just missing a little bit of aggression. But overall, like, it was really cool. Cullen is a great kid. He's got a lot of talent. I think he can go really far in the sport. And yeah, it was cool to see him progress throughout the season and get closer and closer. There were times where he was going fast and he was hard to pass. So definitely not trying to teach him too much, keep him back there a little bit. But no, we have a lot of fun on and off the track. We pick on each other a lot. So it's a good time.
It's like, Cole, let me teach you everything about how to get second.
Exactly.
Well, he did good. He picked it up. And again, congratulations to you on another championship and that perfect season, dude. That was rad. I want to talk about a bunch of different things, but I kind of wanted to start this in a different way with you. Again, going beyond the track, I kind of want to go back in time. Dude, you're a North Carolina guy. There's been a lot of talent that's come out of that area. Jacob Hayes, good friend of mine, he's talked about you and him as kids and just like the amount of fast riders. Just let's go back to those years, the early years of racing, growing up around a pack of kids that end up being really successful in a lot of different chapters. So let's just start there and take me back to those early years of racing and kind of, just kind of fighting through the ranks in those amateur days.
Yeah, for sure. Man, to even like come off the top of my head, we have so many guys that I grew up looking up to, grew up riding with, and it's pretty insane to really think about it. There's Austin Stroop, Ian Treadle, Brock Tickle. There was PJ Larson, Shane McElrath, Cooper Webb. Like, it's crazy to look back, and me and Jacob had some insane battle.
He's told me.
From 50cc all the way up to the our last year amateur. It was crazy, and it was awesome though, because we pushed each other so much and pushed each other to be better. Jacob's a really good friend of mine now, and I was really lucky to kind of have that so close. We kind of traveled around racing all over the country like everyone did. We were just trying to race whoever was the best and see where kind of we ended up. So yeah, we spent a lot of time in Florida, and it was really cool. Something that I really cherish is being with my dad. All the time we got to spend together, on and off the road. He still to this day has missed probably 3 or 4 of my races in my life. So he's there every weekend with me. And yeah, it's something that I love about our relationship, and it keeps us close. So it's very cool to have him there. But yeah, growing up, we were just at the night track, living life, family, friends. Didn't really start taking it serious until probably I was 13 to 14 years old. I moved to MTF. Ended up living there for 4 or 5 years with Colleen Millsaps, training with Barsha and Joey Savacci and all that gnarly fast group of guys. It was really cool to be there, and I think I learned a lot. It made me grow up pretty quick. I think living by myself at 14 years old,
Yeah.
mechanic, and you just kind of have to figure it out. Didn't know how to wash clothes, didn't know how to make any food. It was just like, oh, well, here we go.
I mean, that's rad. And that gets lost sometimes because I think the amateur scene is so competitive. So you're always so focused on the competition part. But do you feel back in those years, that was a chapter where you did really like grow up, not only as a racer, but as a person? You're kind of forced to like pick it up and grow up, and you got kids older than you that are maybe a year or two in front of where you were. I mean, do you look back on that chapter and feel like that was like a growth period, not just in racing, but just in life in general?
Yeah, definitely. It was one of those things where it was like, all right, well, if you want to be the best, you have to do these certain things and do them the right way. You can't stay out all night. You can't stay up playing video games all night. Like you got to get your rest. Gym comes early in the morning. You got to get up, make food, and do all these things. And definitely something I learned at a young age. Maybe even almost too young, where it was more of like you get on the bike, you do your motos, do your sprints, and after that you're so worn out you don't even want to play ride anymore. Like the days off were days off, and yeah, something that is a hard balance to find, especially, and everyone's different. More people like to ride more people like days off. It's just kind of give and take, whatever your body needs and whatever you want. But yeah, it was definitely, MTF was wide open. We were 4 days a week, hammering down. Colleen is no joke. She gets it done, and I have a lot of respect for her. She is out there with us, rain, shine, snow, tornadoes, doesn't matter. She's out there. So that was really cool for me, and definitely a growing up experience. I feel like I grew up pretty quickly, and yeah, like you said, the amateur scene is so competitive. There's so many guys that are going so fast, and it's crazy to look back and think on, and it's still, I'm sure, the same today. You have your few top guys, and they're doing everything that basically a pro is doing at 14 to 15 years old. So it was a crazy experience, but I loved every minute of it.
You kind of said something that sparked my interest. You talk about riding so hard that when you're done, you don't want to play ride. You're just exhausted. I mean, this is just kind of coming out of left field, but you kind of feel if you could go back in time and just make adjustments, would it be better to have a little bit less of the hardcore pursuit and have a little bit of that fun? Do you feel like that was missed because of exhaustion or the program? I'm just curious.
Looking back, like I definitely think it could have been, for myself, maybe not so, especially in my younger years, not so much just motos, just sprints. More of those days where it's kind of more of recovery off day, where you go out and throw whips or have fun with your buddies and just play around, mess around kind of deal. And even those days, you can still learn a lot with how your bike handles, with certain things, and you can work technique, and there's all sort of things. But yeah, I definitely think there was definitely stuff that I missed, and even in the middle of my career, I feel like I'd been on the same kind of rut for so long that I didn't go out and ride with my buddies. I didn't go have fun. I was there to do my job, get my motos in, and I was out. So definitely something that I think could have been a little bit better, but overall, I think that whole area made me who I am, and Yeah, I wouldn't change it.
Well, let's talk about more who you are again. We talked about the Arena Cross Championship. We're at a different chapter in your life right now than you were, say, when you came out as a pro. Supercross, motocross, you've had a lot of success throughout the years. Just off the top, what stands out maybe in those early days as a race that really was like, man, this is what I've dreamed of. This is what I've wanted. Again, I know life goes in different chapters, so it always adjusts. But in those early years, you're chasing this, you're working hard, you turn into a young man. Can you think of one off the top of your head that was like, God, I've wanted this for a long time?
Yeah, I mean, it had to be. There's a few different instances. My last year at Loretta's, when I won the 250A A class, Loretta's was always a rough one for me. I feel like just never really put it together. I had a bunch of second places. Justin Bogle was one that would always end up getting me there. And my last year, I was able to win my last title there. So that was like a big relief. And that's I think pretty much why I got my star ride going into the pros. So that was a big one. And then my first Supercross podium was big. I'd been injured basically my whole rookie year. Wasn't really able to prove what I was capable of and really have the momentum that I needed. But I was at MTF. I was back at MTF from being in California training, and we'd put in a lot of work, a lot of time getting better at Supercross, because that's one place I really struggled in. And yeah, I was able to hole shot Indy 2013 and ended up second that night. So that was a big one where it was like, whew. And then started getting some momentum building. And then I think 2 weekends later, ended up getting hurt again. So not always what you wanted to go, but things happen for a reason, and you just got to roll with them.
What was that podium like when, again, you have a lifetime of racing, like you talked about, you're traveling with your dad, you're all over the place as a 50, 60, you got the years at MTF, you turn pro, there's these new pressures, right? Because now money's involved. And then to be able to put it together and be on that podium, and you've got a few now. We're going to get into a couple of these things because you've done some random timed ones that are just really cool, in my opinion. But that first one, when you're on the podium and you're looking at this full stadium in Indy, I mean, can you even like explain those emotions? Did those emotions come later? Because even this year when you got a podium, you were like, I'll feel this more tomorrow, is what you told me on the podium. Definitely. But what was that moment like when you're standing there and you lived a whole lifetime chasing something like that? Man,
the emotions are really hard to describe. Like you said, I've been working for that since I was 14 years old. And that's kind of the dream is to be successful and to win. Obviously it's not a win, but with where I was at, with all the injuries the year before, privateer program, just me, my dad, and driving to the races in box van, and we were making it work. So it was something that I'll always cherish. I do believe I could have won that night.
Who won that night? Who won?
Musquin.
And Marvin.
And he got me on the last lap.
It
was funny. Going back, I hole shotted, and then Wharton got by me pretty quick, and I was just kind of pacing off him. He had probably a 5 or 8 second gap on me going into the last lap, and he went down on the whoops last lap. And I went by him, and I noticed it was him down, and I fully locked up.
Oh, dude.
Locked up. That was it. And Musquin got by me, I think, with 2 or 3 corners to go. So definitely something that would have been cool. But yeah, I was so stoked to get my first one, and for it to be a second was a huge deal. There, I had a lot of my kind of core sponsors with me then, like John Kuzo and Ian Runyon, who had been with me for 5 or 6 years previous during my amateur career. So having them there as well, along with my dad, it was a very special moment for sure.
Yeah, I have to imagine you're probably on the podium like, yes. And you look over at Marvin, you're like, no. Like, I mean, and I've talked to riders before that have, gotten their first podium, and same thing. It's like, God, I could have got this one. But at the same time, it's your first podium. So is that like a hard balance of emotions? Like extreme happy, but like, what the heck?
For sure. Yeah, you don't want to throw it away, but you're like, I believe I could have done that, but I'll settle here and get my first one, and then keep building from there. So
Okay.
definitely.
All right. So I want to get the full story from you on this one.
Okay.
And correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't remember, was it Massachusetts or was it Gillette Stadium or New York on JGR where you got at least the one that I'm thinking of?
Gillette.
It was Gillette. Okay. But it wasn't just about that night. It was about like maybe the week prior to that one, right? Because we had some issues. As talented as you are, if I remember correctly, we had an issue in the parking lot.
Yes, we did.
Tell the story. Tell the story.
So obviously Minnesota, you never know what you're going to get. In February, could be super nice. In years past, we've been there and it was great, awesome day. This year we had a blizzard. I think it was like -11 that day or something outside. So going down for second practice, I believe. I had my mechanic on the back. Go leave the truck. There's snow and ice all over the ground. Turn left out of the truck, go over the train tracks, and then we turn left on the main road and go down into the stadium. It was just a bad deal. My mechanic on the back, we were riding. I ended up losing the front end as I went to turn left, not really even thinking that it was going to be slippery or anything. And the handlebar caught my knee wrong, twisted it, heard a big pop. And I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. Like, never had any issue before then. But yeah, knew right away I couldn't straighten my knee. Oh. And I was like, no, like, surely you can't. It's not in the parking lot. On the track, okay, it was one thing, but not in the parking lot. Like, it was my first year with JGR. So I was like, man, I'm back on a factory ride, back where I want to be. And then this happens and I'm like just devastated, man. Absolutely devastated. But ended up, I was able to like just lock my knee out. So my dad actually saw me as I crashed. So he ran over. I limped down to Asterisk with him. They're like, yeah, you definitely did your ACL, possibly MCL. So I was like, all right, it is what it is. I'll try to, maybe it was going down for third practice because somehow I was able to line up that night just to be able to try. And it was for the Triple Crown. So I went out for the first moto and rolled around that first lap. And I was like, there's no way. Like, yeah, it was too swelled up, too sore. So I went back to the pits and I was so bummed. I was like, man, this is the end of the world. Went back flew back to Charlotte. Was able to get into a doctor super fast, get MRI done Monday. Had the results back Tuesday confirming it was ACL, MCL. And I was talking to J-Bone. I was like, what do you want to do? Like, I don't think I'm going to be able to ride, but I already have my flight to Gillette. Like, at least I can go and try. And if not, I did all I could. So yeah, he was like, well, I want you to at least try to ride one day before to see how you feel. So we had the JGR therapist there that was thankfully there to help out. And she came out with me to the track Thursday before the race, and we were taping it up. I would go do a lap and be like, not enough, tape it more. And I did that probably 5 or 6 times. And I was literally able to do the jumps, but that was completely it. I never went a lap through the whoops, just basically just able to just kind of ride. And I was like, well, we're going. So hopefully it gets better. Maybe not. Flew to the race, did everything I could to tape it up and make it basically as locked up as it could, just not be able to move it. And practice was terrible. Heat race was terrible. I qualified 15th through practice. Had didn't feel comfortable whatsoever. In the heat race, I think I was running 7th, I believe, and tried to make a pass for 6th, ended up going down.
Ugh.
Finished 10th or 11th in the heat race. I'm like, man, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I was so mad at myself. So I go down to the LCQ, and I think that's actually what helped me out a lot, was to keep it moving where it wasn't able to get locked up. I wasn't really able to feel the pain, and I was so mad at myself not getting in through the heat that I actually rode pretty decent in the LCQ and ended up winning the LCQ. Went back to the truck, and they were like, well, I mean, this is the one that counts, so here goes nothing. We'll see what we can do. And I was able to get off to a good start, running 4th, I think, for most of the moto, and then ended up passing into 3rd. And Jeremy Martin had went down. We kind of came together first lap, and he ended up going down. And with like 2 or 3 laps to go, I could see him just taking huge chunks out on me. And I was like, man, I cannot let this happen. I cannot let this one go. So I was able to thankfully make it in for 3rd that night. And that was a huge one. It was just one of those things where it was basically all God. He was able to get me through. And it was funny, the whole week prior, I was joking around with J-Bone and everyone on the team. I was like, I'll just go podium this weekend. Like, I just hit my knee. Like, it is what it is. I'll just podium. And it ended up, I was actually able to do that. So super funny story. But yeah, it was definitely,
it's just crazy to me, because you look at every rider, every podium has its own story, right? Just how it happened. Some people, like, it just works out. Some people have to go through absolute hell. There's just so many variables that will help a guy get a podium. And to think that you went through all of that, it's just a very rare story, is all I'm saying. Like, it doesn't happen that way often. That's why, for me, I'll never forget that I had just started doing TV. And I remember that was all happening. And I'm like, poor guy, because I've had knee problems, and I'm like, there's no way. And this dude gets on the podium with a torn ACL from the week before. It's such a rare story to the podium.
Yeah, it's insane to even think about. For me, like, that was one of those things, like, it's basically impossible.
Yeah, like, the odds are so not on your side for that.
Yeah, and going into the race, I was like, man, like, I'm going to do everything I can, but in reality, like, this probably isn't going to work. Like, most likely I had no strength in my knee and my leg, super unstable. It was like, I remember I was landing off the triple, basically sitting down so I wouldn't put pressure on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was definitely a cool story to have.
Yeah, I file that away as a rad one, dude. That's sick. Okay, so let's move on to this year's podium. Arlington, right? Sorry, Was it the second one?
Yeah.
The Tuesday nighter.
Yep.
So again, this 250 West this year, was the class was so deep. And I remember talking to you a little bit during the season, and you were like, man, it's wild because there's so many young factory kids that are all just going for it. And you're like, dude, these kids are crazy. But it was so stacked on that coast with talent. I mean, I think there was double-digit riders got on the podium this year. There was so many fast guys. And I remember that night, I think was that the Hunter Lawrence win that he would, it was just a wild night, dude. It was all over the place, and there's battles going on. And once it settled down in the last few minutes, I'm like, dude, KP's going to get another one. Privateer, Phoenix Honda, Arena Cross, you're kind of part-time. And I'm just like, dude, he's going to get it. And you did. You got another one. I know how special that one was for you too, but just kind of take me through just what led up to this one too, because a different schedule. You're not training specifically for Supercross. Like, you're doing your Arena Cross, then you're kind of blending. You skip Daytona. It was just such a funny program for you. And then to get on the podium on that coast was just another one that's like, damn, like, Kyle, you're stacking up the coolest stories ever, but take me through this one.
Yeah, so this one was another really cool one. Arena cross went really well. I had a lot of confidence coming off arena cross. My bike was good. We were feeling good. The team and I have been meshing really well our second year together. So, and then David Eller had also brought in some Dean Baker and Mitchell Key for engines. So our motors were really good. I actually wasn't feeling the best, feeling a little under the weather coming into that Tuesday, I remember. But I really meshed with the track really, really well. It was fast. I could kind of push through things really well. And yeah, like you said, the coast was unbelievably stacked. Like it was insane how many great riders were out there. And
I think
really,
it was like 7 or 8 guys were on the podium in the first 3. It was like new podium 3. I mean, it was definitely like a weird coast to watch because it was seriously every night was like brand new talent making it. Like, yeah, okay, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. It was insane for sure. It was basically all kind of track position, especially that night. So yeah, going in, practice went pretty well. Qualifying went well. Going up for my heat race, we had just figured out the data acquisition on the bike. So my mechanic Keith Harrison, he turned data on. We make it down to the heat race. I like to get down there early just to kind of get my head right, get into the race mode. And we were down there a little bit too early. I drug him down too early. And so I'm sitting there kind of watching opening ceremonies, getting into the right headspace, getting ready to race. And my mechanic tells a story now. It's funny. Walking to the line, everyone kind of starts their bikes to get them heated up and ready. And he hits the button and it's fully dead, like dead, nothing. And he doesn't tell me. So I go pick my gate, get everything ready, and he taps me on the shoulder. He's like, hey, your battery's dead. Your bike's not going to start. So I was like, so I just quickly looked around, all behind the starts, slip concrete over, beside the start was actually some dirt. I was like, all right, when the 30-second car goes up, we'll back out real quick, push me over to the dirt and we'll jump start it and I'll be fine. And I figured out later that so Hondas don't have condensers on them, so they need the battery voltage to run the motor. So we get it bumped. My battery's obviously cooked. It was toast. So my bike's barely running. I've got to keep the gas on, like as everyone's getting ready for the start. Take off through the first corner. I actually end up getting collected in the second corner going down. Barely was able to keep my bike running. It was just spitting and sputtering everywhere. And still thankfully came back to, I think, 8th place in the heat race. And I came back, I was like, man, like, I don't know how that happened. I don't know how we got through it. And I'm so lucky that I was able to keep my bike running when I fell. Went back, put a new battery on it, got everything fixed up, and obviously had, I think, 16th or 17th gate pick. It was not good. And yeah, I was able to get a good start. Something that I struggled with kind of this year. Wasn't really upfront enough to be able to repeat another podium, but I was able to start 4th, I believe. And then made my way past Mitchell Harrison and really just focused on putting in the laps, hitting my marks. I knew there was obviously a lot of guys behind me, really fast guys, and really just tried to close the doors on everything, made sure no one had any room to come in on me. And once I kind of probably around 5 minutes in, I was like, all right, everyone's kind of settled in. I can see I kind of had a sense of what's going on behind me. I knew Jalik was in front of me and then Hunter. And I was like, all right, well, let's try to make a push to Jalik. And it was one of those tracks where if you push too hard, you make a mistake and end up going back. And I did that probably 2 or 3 times, and I was like, man, just hit your marks. If it comes, it comes. If not, like, this is awesome for the whole Phoenix Racing Honda team. This is a great step in the right direction, and we'll keep growing from that. So I was able to kind of close up the gap to Jalik. Never close enough to really make a move on him. So, but yeah, it was super cool to be kind of getting in that older age group of the 250 guys, and still be able to have the experience to battle with these kids and fight for podiums. And I believe in myself, and I believe I can fight for wins. Just a few things have to fall in place. But yeah, that was another super cool one for the whole team. It was the first podium for them, and they were really excited about it. So yeah, I was stoked on it.
Man, I'm noticing a trend here. When you have like a lot of issues on race day and like a really bad heat race, seems to like elevate you to the podium. I don't know if maybe it's the bad gate pick in the main. Maybe you should just start screwing up every day.
Yeah.
Have nothing but problems, horrible heats, way outside, and you're good, Kyle.
Yeah,
it's like,
I guess I just have to get really, really angry.
Yeah, there's something in this trend that is the magic ingredient here, because again, these are nights when things shouldn't go your way, and you have found a way to like make them not only okay, but like your best night. So
yeah,
it's either something with you or I don't know, man, but I'm noticing a trend here that whenever you have problems, you end up on the podium.
I'm definitely trying to figure it out. We want to keep repeating those, and yeah, that's the goal is to be successful in Supercross and to be fighting for podiums, fighting for wins, and there's no reason why I can't and my bike and my team can't. So that's the goal coming into 2021 and or 2022, sorry. And yeah, we'll keep fighting.
Well, let's talk about that program a little bit, because I've noticed that different riders, especially around this age, they start to figure out what really works for them. Brayton's obviously a little older, but he found a system that worked for him.
Yep.
With Australia and the way he did things. It was like he had to make some adjustments to say, okay, let me make this career better for me. You're kind of doing the same thing right now. Like, you found this thing that works for you. Obviously not racing the summer, but your series in Arena Cross, it's its little chapter before Supercross. I mean, did you kind of luck into this program? Were you seeking a modified schedule that would allow you to have this? Because it really looks like it's working for you.
Yeah, I kind of looked into it. David Eller and I had talked in the past about riding together, and it just never really worked out. And then JGR came about, so I raced for them for 2 years, and yeah, once I kind of figured out my second year there, like I wasn't going to have a spot. They were kind of shortening everything up. So I went to David. I was like, listen, like, I know you're on Hondas. I love Honda. I grew up on them. I'm comfortable on them. I know we can do really, really well in Supercross. And he was like, all right, well, I'm also Arena Cross team, so you have to do Arena Cross as well. And I was like, like, I kind of felt like that was one of those things where it was kind of below Supercross, I guess. And I was like, like, if I have to do it, I'll do it. That's not where I want to be, but yeah. And it ended up turning out like I love Arena Cross. I love kind of the atmosphere there, how it's kind of more laid back. It's more fun, I think. More of like being back at the roots. There's the amateur classes racing all day. We kind of fit in the schedule where they're not, and yeah, it's something that I love to be at, love to race, and to also see the kids racing and kind of be able to interact with them, because Supercross, we're always on the go, and we're not able to always talk with people and kind of do that thing. So, and I truly believe it helps with all the gate. I'm able to get so many gate drops before the season. I'm able to kind of get my intensity up, kind of get race ready before even round one, where some people find that hard balance to to between the practice track and the racetrack. So I feel like it helps me a lot getting ready for Supercross. And then also arena cross is its whole different kind of aspect of it. Short racing, very intense, very gnarly. There's guys coming at you every which direction, and you got to be on your toes. So it's different style racing, but it's something that I've come to love, and I definitely think it helps in getting me ready for the Supercross season as well.
Yeah, it does seem like a good fit. Like you said, I think you're right on that environment too. It's got a different feel there. Like obviously you're still competitive. You're not going to go and do a perfect season unless you're competitive, but it has this weird feeling like when you come off the track, there's a different sense of relief a little bit. Does it feel almost like amateur racing again? Like you're with your buddy. There's something about it that doesn't have that same like high pressure. Like there's internal pressure, but it's not as much external pressure for some reason. Is that what you're kind of feeling when you're there? Just like those old school vibes?
Yeah, definitely. Kind of more being on the track with my dad and the whole team, and we're all cutting up in between races. We're all just having fun together, and that's one thing that's I think really has helped my program that I was missing a lot in the years past. Is I was trying so hard to make it work and doing everything that I could, where I just wasn't really having that much fun. Where being with the Phoenix Racing Honda team and doing arena cross, I've had winning's always fun,
Yeah.
but also that atmosphere and just kind of, yeah, it's just fun. I just love it.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Like I said, I think it works perfect too because it allows you to prep. Like it's like a fun prep for the Supercross. So not only do you come in ready, but it's not like you had 2 months of just pounding laps only, that repetitive feeling. It's almost like you get to like come in. I think Brayton's the same way. He comes in just pumped because he's been racing and like he's got that vibe. It's a better way to prep, like race prep for racing instead of just pound laps,
Absolutely. And it's obviously worked for him, and I'm trying to kind of follow in his footsteps. He's an unreal guy. He's an awesome racer and is incredibly fast. So I'm thankful to have him pretty close to where I live now. I can kind of call him on the phone, talk to him whenever. We'll go on bicycle rides together. We'll train together at Club MX. And he's an awesome riding partner to have because it's just insane how smooth and he's almost like perfect. Like doesn't really make a mistake. He hits his marks and it's crazy and awesome to watch and try to mimic. Basically.
Yeah, if you looked up Supercross efficiency, there's a picture of Justin Brayton. The dude is like so efficient. There's no waste there. He is so good. Yeah, but what's funny is your riding style is the same way. I noticed it this year in Supercross, of course, because I'm there, so I can visually see it. But then again, on Arena Cross on the voiceover. But you're very like a tactician. You hit everything perfect, but there's this nice aggression mixed with it. Has your riding style changed as you've gone through the different ages of blocks? Of course, you're 16. At one point, you're probably just wicked everywhere. Yeah. Have you grown as a rider and found that perfect balance? Because again, you're very efficient too, but you are still really aggressive as far as like the way you ride the corner. So have you grown into that?
Yeah, definitely. I still think to this day, like you can win, but also like you could also do things better. You could have hit this corner better. You could have went faster. You could have won by more. And that's kind of where I'm at in my life. Like, I'm never going to settle. I'm always trying to get better, whether it be off the bike, nutrition, on the bike, just kind of whatever. And that's what I love about the sport and training aspect is there's always more to give. There's always more to get. And yeah, definitely throughout the years, I've done a lot of training with a lot of different people. Spent time at MTF, spent time with Jeannie Carmichael, spent a lot of time at Club MX with Brandon Haas and all those guys. And also, Buddy Antonez helped out for a couple of years, and then Justin as well. So for me, everyone's different, but I've taken kind of little things from all of them essentially, and it's all kind of worked in for me. Buddy was a great one because he was a little bit shorter like myself, so and he's been there, done that. He's been in arena cross. He knows what works for him, and what works for him kind of worked out for me as well. And yeah, so I'm able to watch Brayton ride a lot and kind of see how he does things. And I'm like, oh, okay, like you can like just kind of hop over this and keep your, not waste too much energy, but also on the 250, you kind of have to be aggressive. You gotta keep the revs up and keep the thing moving. Where the 450, you don't have to as much, but yeah, definitely, I've definitely learned a lot from him, a lot from everyone. And yeah, it's kind of one of those things where everyone's different. Everyone has different riding styles. Stuff works for me. It's not going to work for everyone else. But yeah, I've definitely found something I think works for me, and I'm still trying to be better at it. Still trying to improve my technique and what I can do better. But I definitely think we're on a good path here, and hopefully keep it rolling.
More coming. I love it. So let's go beyond the track for real here. And I know a little bit, but I don't know the details. So you can fill me in, but tell me about your family in the automotive industry. I know you're not doing the nationals, so I'm thinking you're working right now for the family. Is that summertime?
Yeah, that's summertime.
Okay. Yeah. Fill me in on the family background and again, what you do in the summer, seeing as though you don't want to sweat no more in the summertime, Kyle.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to get back out there. The Phoenix Honda team doesn't do outdoors, and there's not really. It's a lot of effort, a lot of work for not much reward for myself.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm able to go. My family owns a used car dealership. We have 3 different locations right now, so I'm able to kind of be with my dad most of the week, learn the business. Learning the car sales, from the going to the auction and buying it to the service department, and just kind of learning. And then also it's able to keep me excited for when I am able to go ride. Having a desk job, I'm there from usually 9 in the morning until sometimes it closes, or sometimes later. It could be
except for when we got to do beyond the track, then we take the morning off.
There we go. Yeah, this came out perfect.
Hey, Dad, I got something lined up this morning. I got to come in a little late.
Sorry, I won't be there today. I'm taking the whole day off.
Oh, the whole day, not
the
just
whole
the morning.
day.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
But does it kind of get that burning feeling again? Like you said, I feel like working that job has its rewards, but then it also does it churn it up a little bit? Like, ooh, I can't, kind of rekindle that motivation.
Absolutely. We all think how hard we have it all the time. It's always, the grass is always greener on the other side. And especially last year was kind of the first year I was able to come into the car dealership and start the learning process of how to do these certain things. And I'm like, man, like I love racing. I love like training, the suffering, the being in it 24/7 and being at the car dealership from 9 a.m. to whenever, and kind of being stuck there. You're not able to go to the track, and usually like we're on the move all the time. Like we're in the gym, making food, going to the track, going road biking. We're kind of like just everywhere, not sitting in one place all at once. And
right.
And that's something that is really hard for me. It's something that I really had a hard time getting used to. So, and it makes me enjoy riding and makes me enjoy the suffer so much more.
Mm-hmm.
Is just to have that aspect of like, this is what is going to come, but I'm going to try to hold off as long as I can.
Right.
To not have to go do that. I like the car dealership, but yeah, this motocross supercross side is my first love and my passion, and I never am gonna want to give that up. So yeah, it definitely gives me more of a love for racing, other than just going out and riding all the time and being in that constant routine of it. It breaks it up and then makes me enjoy it more, I think.
That makes sense. And I'm thinking too, again, about like that remotivation. I've talked to you enough in the last year or so that I know you want more. You're not satisfied. I think you're probably happy with the things you've done. but you seem unsatisfied. Like you have more you want to do, more you want to prove. So does this formula of what you're doing in life kind of give you the blueprint that will allow you to continue to chase that? Because I would imagine if you were just in the grind year round, it might be like one of those things where I'm like, man, this is getting hard to stay motivated. But is this program allow you to stay motivated for those goals that you still want? And then if so, what are those goals? Like, what do we still want to accomplish?
Definitely. You know, I definitely think the way I'm doing it now is it keeps me hungry. I know these guys that basically train year round. Like when outdoors finishes, have a couple weeks off, 2 or 3 weeks off, and then straight back into the grind. And that's really hard mentally to continue to do, along with all your body. But I think more mentally, it's just one of those things where, like, man, you love it, you enjoy it, but it becomes a job at that point, and it's really hard to do. So I think what I'm able to do now is it keeps me motivated, like you were saying, keeps me hungry, and gets me, I think, more fired up to come out and do better and keep this career going as long as I can. Sorry, I forgot your other question.
What do you want to accomplish? I know what it is. You've already told me, but
yeah, you know, my goal is to continue to win championships in arena cross. I know Buddy Antonez is 7-time, I believe, arena cross champion.
If maybe more, who knows?
Yeah.
Buddy went on a filthy run there for a while.
So my goal is to basically surpass Buddy.
So we're going. Dang. All right. I'm gonna see Budman next week. I'm gonna let him know.
Buddy's where I want to be in the arena cross side of it. I want to win as much as I can. And I know it's tough. The competition's tough. There's fast riders coming in more and more all the time, and these guys are just continually getting better. So it's going to be a fight, but I believe in myself. I believe in my program, what I've got going with my trainer, Corey Wharf, and all those guys. So yeah, the goal is to win, continue to win in that. And then in Supercross, I want to keep fighting for podiums and more podiums. The goal is to be in the fight for the championship, and to win a race. That's my next goal. My thing is to win a race and get 3 or 4 podiums in the season. And if I can fight for the championship, awesome. I want to be that guy that's in the mix and able to fight for it. That's essentially my goal. And I have a bunch of different goals for everything, but that's the main one for racing. And yeah, we'll see what we can do.
I know how we can get you a win. we need the fire alarm to go off in the hotel at midnight the night before.
Oof.
We need some food. We need some food poisoning.
Oh,
we need a front flat tire. What else can we throw at you? Because I'm telling you, dude, we just throw all the bad stuff at you in one day, dude. You're gonna win a race. Like, what else can we do to screw up your day to get a win?
Get my gear bag lost on there.
Lose a gear bag. Wear the wrong size boots because you had to borrow some.
Oh yeah.
Your mechanic Keith Harrison, who I know is a very important piece to your program because he's an ex-racer and he's super talented, which definitely. I know Heath for a long time. So we need him to have, we need to have him break his ankle on track walk. All the worst things you can imagine, you're going to win.
I hope it doesn't take all that stuff. I just kind of want to go in and have a great day, qualify great, possibly win a heat race, and then win the main. That's
how you want it.
Yeah, that's how I want it. I want to have just perfect day.
All right. Well, I'm gonna ask you one more question. Again, this has been fun talking to you. I want to talk about those podiums. They're cool stories, but I got to ask you a little bit of a lighthearted, funny question. You and I already talked about this once off the recording.
Okay.
When you knew that in 2021, Mike Alessi was coming into arena cross and you already have the stank dog there.
Oh yeah.
How many nights did you give it until there was a problem? Because I felt by like night 4, there would be an issue. And you told me you figured it would come a little quicker, and Kyle, it came quick before those two had a problem.
Yeah, coming into the season, I'd been hearing Mike's coming in, and I'm like, man, like.
Well, you're gonna have to pass him because you know he's gonna get them starts figured out. You knew that was coming.
Definitely. And I was like, man, like this could be really difficult. Like Mike is a really great racer, great rider. Arena cross being a little bit different. So I was like, maybe there may be a little bit of a learning curve there. But yeah, Stank Dog is one of my really good buddies. I love that guy. Try to stay clear away from him. Don't hit it.
Don't even do anything on accident. He's
exactly.
I love me some Stank Dog, but dude, he gets fired up. I don't know if you saw on Instagram the other day at that Pikes Peak Arena Cross. He was into it with somebody too.
Really?
And I was like, dude, it'll never change. He's the dog. He'll always be. But look at that combo, right? Stank Dog and Alessi. I mean, this is a fire igniting any minute, right?
Definitely. Alessi has made aggressive moves in the past, like anyone else has, myself included. And yeah, I was going in. We were joking around, like, oh, how long is it going to take? Da da da. And I'm like, man, it could be right off the bat. Like, who knows? It could be he race one. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it was really cool to have both of them in the season. Unfortunately, Stank Dog got hurt pretty early in the season and missed most of it. But racing with Mike was awesome. We had great racing all year. Like you said, he had the whole shots dialed in right off the bat. So I was like, man, most of the time I had to pass him. And we had great racing. Never really came into each other in much at all, if any. So that was something that was really cool, and it was fun to have that experience with him. I think he's coming back next year, so that'd be really cool to have him. And I know he'll make it even tougher than it was last year. So it's great to have that competition, along with Stank Dog and the rest of them. So it's exciting to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, we'll leave it with this parting thought. I've heard little rumors out there that possibly Bowers might come back to Arena Cross. Alessi will be back. Stank Dog will be back. I've heard Vince Freese might come in. Explain to me how Bowers, Freese, Alessi, and Stank Dog are gonna. What's gonna happen? I mean, I'm assuming you want to get the whole shot and just.
That's yeah.
I just don't know how that is gonna work. That's like a lot of potential trouble.
Absolutely, yeah. It's those guys are gnarly. They're super fast. Anything can happen. It's Arena Cross. The way the tracks have been a little bit more basic, so it makes it even harder racing. You really have to go in there hard and stick it in there. But yeah, with all those guys, it could be a recipe for some really wild nights.
Yeah, WWE. Let's just say it.
Exactly. I'm hoping I'm, like you said, out front gone, but that's hard to do all the time. So I'm sure we'll be dicing it up with all of them, and it'll make racing exciting. The competition is obviously going to be there, so it's going to be a fun year.
Could be fun. And then back for Supercross next year, 2022.
Yep, that's the plan with the Phoenix Racing Honda team. We'll hopefully the Arena Cross season. Hopefully we can get started a little bit earlier. Get our season in before the second part of the East Coast Supercross series, so I won't have to miss a race.
Yep.
But ultimately, we'll see what happens there, and yeah, I'll try to come out with another Arena Cross championship, and then hopefully be in the mix for the Supercross championship.
You didn't have to miss Daytona this year, but you're all greedy on Saturday night and had to stay in Texas and get that perfect season.
Yeah.
You could have made it over.
I know. It was something that I was really talking about with my team owner. I was like, what do you think I should do? I talked to a lot of people about it, and they're like, it would be super cool to potentially win the Supercross or the Arena Cross Championship Friday night, fly out that night, get to Daytona Saturday, and race the Supercross and potentially do really well and potentially podium. Like, you never know what's going to happen. So that was definitely a thought. We talked with David, and he was like, you know what, if you went out Friday night, I think to potentially have a perfect season, not many people have done it.
Yeah.
Never in arena cross. So he was like, I think you should do that. And I kind of agreed. Like, I talked to my parents about it. They're like, it's one of those things where you want to do both, you want to be at both, but you kind of have to pick one. And I'm happy with what I chose. I think what happened there and what I was able to achieve was something really cool, and I'm very proud of that moment.
Made history, bro. It was awesome. Thanks for coming on Beyond the Track again. Tell your pops I apologize. We'll get you back to work, but I needed to talk to you today. So thanks for coming on.
You can keep me here as long as you need. I'm here whenever you need me.
Daily show.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me on. And I look forward to being back at the races.
Awesome. Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you.